Hello everyone, I'm Instructor Holland, and these are some instructions for how to answer the questions in exercise 9, and these will help with answering them and backworking some of the questions as needed. So beginning with question 1, you're asked to find the truth value for not B or X. The instructions tell us that A, B, and C are true, X, Y, and Z are false, and P and Q are unknown. The truth of P and Q are unknown. So to begin with, to solve then for not B or X, use the truth table for negation on page 127 and disjunction on page 129. What the truth table for disjunction shows us is just that we just switched the truth value of the term. So we don't have to look at that one, it's not complex. So we're really concerned with the truth table for disjunction. You can set up your truth table here. You find it again on page 127. And then what you do is you plug in the truth values for the terms, and then you look at the truth value for the whole sentence overall then, and that will answer the question for you. So since the negation tilde symbol just changes the truth value of the term again, B becomes false because the instructions state that it is true. The instructions also say that X is false too. So the value for each term then is false or false. And that takes us to the fourth row here, which tells us false, that the value then is false. Okay. So similarly for question 3, you're asked about the sentence not X, if not X, then not Y. And since X is false, its negation makes it true. And also since C is true, its negation makes it false. So the values switch to true and false instead of false true. So in this case, we're looking for the value of a conditional sentence that has the distribution true false. So use the truth table again for conditionals, the horseshoe symbol on page 131, and we could use this one here. And so the value for true false distribution here for the whole statement then is false. You see that? So the whole sentence then is false. And you can use this method then for all the simpler questions with the simpler sentences. Now, I want to look at a more complex one for you. Looking at question 14, for example, we have this larger piece of logical machinery for which to solve. So remember the distributions for the values, and what you want to do is to approach the questions this way. You want to look at, first plug in the truth values that we know for each of the terms based on the instructions, and then we want to backwork. We want to begin with the smallest parentheses in the equations because in the sentences, because what those are the connectives in the statements with the smallest scope. So you want to solve for the smallest scope and then move outward to those with greater scope and then get to the last one. And so we're trying to solve for this negation here. Okay, so to do that, the way to approach then is to start with the smallest scope. So what we're doing is we're solving for A and B, P or not C, and not X or Q. So here again, use the truth table for disjunctions, and we're also going to use the truth table for the conjunction here, the dot symbol, and that's on page 128. We already saw for the table and pages for disjunction. So next you move to the biconditional truth table on page 130, and then last of all you move to the conditional as you move outward. And so together the values we're looking for is the negation of the far left again, this one here, and it's outside of it has the greatest scope. It's outside of all the smaller parentheses. So we come to this chart. Here's the sentence with the truth values for all the terms that we know that were given in the instructions. And as we move through the smaller scopes, we can get the truth values for some of the terms. Okay, and you just go step by step then to the final step. And so the second to last step is the conditional here, and we've been able to come to false true for the terms in this larger second to last connective, the conditional statement. So using the truth table for conditional, we can see that the truth value of a sentence with a false true is true. But now that means we negate it because of the final step, the negation, so it turns true into false. So the answer for 14 will be false. All right, and you can use this method for all of the more complex questions. Just move out from the smaller, from the terms, and then the parentheses with the smallest scope out to those with greater scope, and so on until you come to the final the final connective with the greatest scope, and then that will give you the answer to the question. Okay, well, I hope this has been helpful, and I look forward to, feel free to send me an email or stop by virtual office hours with any questions, and I look forward to seeing you guys in class.